It is time for Mic'd Up. We dedicate this time in the show to hearing people in their own words because that doesn't happen often enough. And because it's Halloween week, my good friend Adam Longo went on a twilight tour to explore the stories of those buried at the Congressional Cemetery. No ghosts or spirits were harmed.
On an eerie Friday night, we find ourselves in Southeast D.C. at Congressional Cemetery. We're here for Soul Strolls. It's a guided tour through the cemetery in the vein of Halloween. Not as spooky of a walk as you might think, but still, we're hearing some pretty interesting ghost stories.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to historic Congressional Cemetery, which is quite the liveliest burial ground in these United States.
As you're stumbling, past the grave markers, and then, people appear.
I was supposed to be a scout, but I was a clerk. I had no clue what I was doing.
My name is Inspector Henry Lincoln Guessford of the Metropolitan Police Department.
But I was told when I woke up in the hospital with grievous head wounds.
People get it, and they want to hear these stories. They want to believe.
So we're here at Congressional Cemetery for Soul Strolls. What are you going to be leading us through today?
I am going to be taking you past the graves of 5 of the residents of this cemetery, and they have kindly consented to tell us a little bit about their lives. Who here has done Soul Strolls before? Anyone? No? All new. All right, excellent.
We're going through COVID.
Right.
Frightening.
Right.
Now we've got unvaccinated people. Spooky.
Right.
So on a scale of 1 to scary, what are we in for tonight?
About a 3. I mean, it's really, this is not one of those haunted houses where you're gonna have people jumping out at you and saying boo. That's not our
right.
That's not our style.
That's good because I only brought 1 pair of pants.
There you go.
Okay. Could there be anything better than walking around a cemetery while drinking and hearing these stories?
Not. No, this is the best way you can spend a fall evening in the DMV.
Your first time here. What do you make of it so far? You freaked out?
No.
Okay. Not getting the spooky vibe.
No, this is it's cheerful ghost stories, not scary ghost stories.
You're able to bring people a sense of DC history that they might not have any idea about. People who have lived here their whole lives and get to have their eyes opened up to more of what their city's all about.
I've done ghost tours before, and I don't go for the, the scary sort of stuff. I use the ghost stories as an excuse to tell some stories, to tell some history.
What have you learned so far? Just a brief sort of summary.
Not to leave an axe by the back door,
okay.
And to listen to your mother on who you're dating.
Okay. Lifelong advice you've learned tonight.
Exactly. Taking it to heart.
Right.
I think those two things go together, that this was her perfect idea of a fall evening in D.C. and don't listen to your mother in terms of, because you listen to her, now that's what you're doing on Friday.
Solid ideas, great things to easily learn on a day. You walk around Capitol Hill, you see a lot of zombies, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously a lot on the property here too in Capitol Hill. There's been around 70,000 burials at Congressional Cemetery since 1807. That was back, of course, when D.C. still wasn't a state and still didn't have voting representation in Congress. Now the website for Congressional Cemetery, it shows that burial sites are still available. Naturally, your next question is, what are the requirements? To be buried, do you have to be a congressman or anything like that? In fact, yes, there is one requirement to be buried there. You got to be dead.
That's it?
Yeah, that's the only one.
Wow. Now, I've heard of congressmen. There I go, right in front.
Notable dead there include Elbridge Gerry, Vice President under our 4th President, James Madison, and the only signer of the Declaration of Independence to be buried here in D.C.
Wow.
Also, James Edgar Hoover, buried there.
Now, what were the scariest things that you happened to see? Because when I think, Congressional Cemetery and ghosts and spirits, I'm thinking of like failed legislation and filibusters that went way too long.
I think the scariest thing was when the bar started to run out of booze.
There you go.
I think there was a general trending towards panic, but I think they were able to remedy that by bringing in some more.
You know what? Nothing wrong with people having a good time on top of me forever. It's probably the most interesting thing that occurred in a lot of those gentlemen's
Yeah, because
lives.
if you're sitting there, nothing else is happening the rest of the year.
There you go. All right, thank you for that,
Oh,
Adam.
by the way, listen, reach out to me. We got this story through a tip. Somebody was like, hey, this is cool. Check it out. Listen, we follow all your tips. I'm on the talk, of course. You can email me, Facebook, Instagram. Just hit up your favorite there and find me.
On the talk, somebody's been exploring the new Merriam-Webster's dictionary. I see you.